Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to The View from the Top. We've got a really, really exciting session today, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But let me just start off by telling you a little bit about yesterday's session and also actually a little bit about next week's session, and then we'll get on to today. So yesterday we had a fabulous session. We had Julia Onslow-Cole from Fragomen, and once again she gave her global tour de force as she went around the world talking about all the things that are going on in the world of immigration. It was an incredibly timely session because we had President Trump's announcement literally within 24 hours beforehand, and she talked quite a bit about that. But in fact, she's going to be covering that in a lot more detail next week, and clearly that's going to be one of the major issues facing anybody in the mobility world for a while. But also we had some great guests on the show. We had Sarah Hunt from Mondelez, and she talked all about what Mondelez is doing, how they've been responding to the crisis. And that was really fascinating to get her input. And then we also had Ed Hannibal. Now, Ed was with us wearing two hats. He was there as a partner in Deloitte, and he was talking about some of the things that Deloitte are doing, and in particular their respond, recover, thrive model of how to cope with and adapt to and hopefully get past the current implications of the coronavirus crisis. But he was also there with his worldwide ERC hat on, where Ed, as you may know, is the chairman of Worldwide ERC. And they've been doing some serious lobbying efforts on behalf of our industry as a whole, of US government and hopefully global governments, to help the mobility industry and the relocation industry. So we take our hats off. Big shout out to Ed and to everybody at ERC for all the sterling work they're doing. Talking of ERC, we are back next week, Wednesday, 3 p.m. UK, 10 a.m. Eastern, with another session of The View from the Top. And once again, Julia Onslow-Cole will be doing her global immigration tour de force, covering all the travel restrictions, all the visa restrictions, all the immigration rules that are changing pretty much on a daily basis. But I'm delighted to say, and it's a real scoop for us, that our special guest on next week's edition of The View from the Top will be Lynn Shotwell, who, as many of you will know, has just been appointed, or about 3 or 4 weeks ago, been appointed the president and CEO of Worldwide ERC, taking over from the wonderful Peggy Smith. So, who, in fact, Peggy herself has been a guest on The View from the Top, but back in the days when it was a podcast rather than a live cast. But we've got Lynn joining us. I think this is probably Lynn's first major interview, and please do tune in. It'll be great fun. Once we've done the immigration stuff, we're going to get into a real conversation with Lynn in terms of, a bit about her background, how she got into the industry, her vision, her thoughts, her inspirations. So it's going to be a real get to meet Lynn, get to know Lynn conversation. So, I think that's an area that many people will want to tune in for. I'm delighted to say that these live casts are becoming really popular in the industry, and many thanks to everybody who is supporting them. Yesterday we had, I think, over 400 people registered, and we've already had over 3,000 views. I'm fully expecting that'll be 7,000 or 8,000 views by the time we get, give it 72 hours or so. So it's been absolutely a joy for me to take part in these and to present these. What I would say is we want you to join in. So please, if you are out there we're live on LinkedIn, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube. If you are out there, please can you comment, please can you let us know your views, please just say hi, just say where you're from, tell us a bit about yourselves. What I want to do now is to just talk a little bit about the purpose of today's session, and that is to introduce or to remind you all about the tool that Benivo has launched with the help of many others in the industry. This is not, we're using the Benivo technology, but so many companies from around the world have really helped out. And it's our humanitarian gesture, if you like. Maybe that's too grandiose, but it's something we're doing. It's free. There's actually no catch. What we're doing is we're taking our technology and we've created something that is specific for assignees and is specific to help them during the coronavirus, the COVID-19 pandemic let's face it, assignees are probably in a more difficult position than almost any other employee. They are typically a long way from home. They probably got few friends, little in the way of family locally, and they might be struggling in a culture they're not 100% familiar with. And maybe even things like government announcements, maybe in a language that they're not fluent in. So, if it's difficult for any employee, and let's face it, it's difficult for every employee at the moment, it is probably 100 times more difficult for employees who are on assignment, and indeed for their families. So we put together this tool. The idea is to create a tool where assignees can get a lot of information from a lot of different providers, and when they can also learn from each other. Excuse me. So it's a fascinating collaboration of people in the industry. And let me just give you an idea of some of the companies that have supported this initiative. I mean, we're talking major players in our industry, so big shout outs to, and they're in no particular order, but to REA, Partners in Transition, for all the support you've given us. World Pet Travel, we've even got pet information in there. Fragaman giving us huge amounts of immigration and visa information. NetExpat are helping out. Impact Group have joined in. Global Excel have helped out with health information. King and Mayer have helped out. Living Abroad have come on board. Air Inc. And others have come on board. And what I say to you is this: if you are a service provider and you want to help out on this massive industry-wide initiative, then just get in contact. Either email me or email our CEO, Nitzan. You'll see Nitzan in a moment. I'm going to bring him on screen. Or reach out to us via LinkedIn. And if we can bring your content onto the platform, we will. This is not, we're not doing exclusives. We're not trying to keep anybody out. If you can provide information that we need, we would love to have you on board. And if you're a corporate, then please avail yourself of this opportunity. There is no catch. It is completely free. It's been provided by us, but supported by many of the biggest names in our industry. So, and many large companies are already starting to use it. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to introduce into the conversation Nitzan Udan. And let me just bring Nitzan on board. Hey, Nitzan, good to see you there. Good to see the technology is working. Good you have your
Yes, on a first try. Hi, Brian, and hello, everyone.
Okay, so Nitzan, why don't you just tell us a little bit about how this came about? I mean, people may not know the basic Benivo, well, not basic, the standard Benivo platform. And I know there's some really interesting features that are coming in, but just tell us a little bit about the genius of this idea, where the thought came from.
Yeah, so like most of our genius ideas, it didn't come from us. It came actually from us talking to our clients, prospect clients, to the industry. They're sharing their needs, and us realizing that there is value to hear. Here, a shout out to Sandeep Anand from Shopify, who actually was the first one who came to us and say, hey, with this situation happening, our assignees are in a place of more stress than everyone else because they are also in another country. How can we help them? How can we find out all this information that locals know about what is open, what is closed, how they get information in my local language? How do I know which services are delivering food groceries, and what are the tips and tricks and all those insights that we all share in our network? How do we give? How do we open up for others? That's really how we started this tool and this concept, when we realized there is a need. And really what we want, this session to be similar to the previous session, to be a session of positivity. And, along all the negativity and the news that we see around and the limitation, I think it's really, really heartwarming to see how the industry has come about, how so many suppliers, vendors, corporate, all focus on one thing: make every employee welcome. See, how can we improve the assignee experience and the employee experience of people who relocated, and to partner with so many great people who work for amazing companies, and able to offer that. So that's a little bit how it came. The concept came, an idea. that started actually from, as I said, from Shopify, and we've started to develop that. And kind of what was our ask last week and in the previous weeks was for two things: for anyone who is a service provider to join us, and for us together as an industry to provide a free, no-catch solution. And also we challenge every corporate to come and tell us what are your challenges, and we commit to go live in 3 working days with the solution. And last week,
let me come in on that, because that's amazing, the 3-day challenge, Nitzan. That's great. I mean, in terms of just who's here, let me just tell you who's online. We've literally got people from all over the world, so I won't read out everybody's name, but we've got Leslie from BGS, who's from Florida. We've got Nigel from iOS Relocations in India. Kay Hall, Kay's been a guest on the show before. Hi, good to see you, Kay. From Suffolk. Troy joining us from IBM in Toronto. Siobhan Cummins from London. We've got REA in New Jersey. Islam El Gabali from Halliburton in the UAE. We've got from Zurich. We've got Diane from Florida, from New York, from Prague. We've got Des from NetExpat, another one of our supporters. Great to see you there, here, Des. We've got people coming in from all over the world, and people, in LinkedIn world and on Facebook Live world, please do. Come in with your comments. And as we go through, we're going to go into a demo in a moment. Please ask us questions. Let's make this as interactive. Give us your thoughts. And also, I know, Nitzan, that you were just talking about the 3-day challenge, and that is quite amazing. And again, if there's things that people out there want to challenge us to, do challenge us. Benivo is a tech company, and we've got people that just love doing tech. It's what sort of keeps them up at night. And I know that in terms of the 3-day challenge, I'm really excited about this. And I think it's probably what you're going to come on to. But one of the things we've just launched now is, and this is because we were asked to by one of the corporates who's using it, is where are my employees? We've now got technology, and we'll show you that as we go through this demo, where you can find out where your employees are, which is an amazing thing. I think the number of times mobility professionals have said to me, I just need to know where everybody is. Well, we've got that technology. We set the challenge, we've developed it. It took us 3 days, and it's up and running. And bear with us during this demo, and we will show you how this technology works. I have to say, it's pretty cool stuff. And hats off to the technology developers working with you, Nitzan.
Yes, definitely. It's been a fun exercise to work on. First, to understand the need, to really realize that there is lack of information about the current location of employees, and then to come up with a solution that is data privacy and data protection and GDPR compliance with, right? With all those in place, how can we still deliver on this critical information where people are? And a lot of work has been put into that, and we are really proud of what is the tool and how it works, and we'll show you that in a couple of minutes. Brian, anything before we start sharing the platform?
Well, I think, one of the things we've talked about, I'll just put some headings up here. We've talked about this, what we call Challenge Benivo. If you're a corporate out there and there's something that you want this tool to do, just challenge us. And as I said, our commitment is we will get your tool up and running within 3 working days, because we wouldn't mind a weekend off occasionally. But 3 working days, we will get that tool up there. In terms of the features, I'm sure we'll get into that as we actually dive into the demo. But there's some pretty amazingly cool stuff there. Apart from this, where are my employees? There's all sorts of information sources where people can learn. There's also collaborative tools where employees can learn from each other, including WhatsApp groups built into it that people can use. The entire tool is personalized to your company. So, if your company is X Inc., then it'll look like your standard brand. And this is, again, all included. So the whole thing is entirely free, entirely pro bono, and it's entirely personalized for you. And the challenge, I put a challenge out there to the corporates, and the challenge I put to the corporates was, what do you want this tool to do for you? Let us know, we will do it. There's also a challenge I'm going to put out there to the suppliers. And my challenge here to the suppliers is, let's work together. can we all work together? To come together, as people famously once sang. We are a global industry. We are a global industry going through fairly difficult, well, uniquely difficult times at the moment. But whilst times are bad for us, they're terribly bad for the assignees. And our view is if we can all pull together, we will make collectively the industry much, much stronger than it has ever been before. So, Nitzan, I think probably I've finished. I expect people are desperate to actually get in and see this platform. So let's do that. Let's start showing the platform, and maybe you could start, Nitzan, by showing us, what it would look like. I appreciate you can't go through a client platform because client is client confidential, but maybe show us what some of the platforms might look like were they for clients, so they can see a front page, and then we'll go into the detail on the demo platform.
Sounds good. Now, one disclaimer I want to make now and make it very clear. What we're going to show now is not the normal Benivo solution, what we normally sell. It's a special version that we've created only for the COVID-19 support, and we are offering it for free for clients and non-clients. And that's what we want to talk about today. We'll have plenty of time to talk about the Benivo standard and all our great features and the rest of the things, but that's not for today. So first, I want to show you a little bit of the branding. We chose a few companies who are at the front of fighting the pandemic, and just to show how it will be branded for these companies. So before that was Abbott, now it's Walmart, and the platform is always, and this is Regeneron, another pharmaceutical company, and the platform is always branded per corporate. It's all about the corporate, it's all about the current branding and the messaging of the company.
As we go through this, people, do ask your questions. This is a live session. If you've got any questions on the platform, just ask them. I should say that there is typically a 3-minute delay between us actually recording this and it appearing on LinkedIn. So if your question's not answered immediately, then please understand that there is that 3-minute time delay. But I will, and I apologize for this, Nitzan, I will interrupt you as you go through the demo and read out the questions that people are asking and get you to deal with those. And I'll probably have some nasty questions of my own because that's what I'm here for.
Sounds great. I'm looking forward to it. So we are going to do the demo on our demo platform that is called Stark Industries. Last week, I've asked for someone from the viewers to tell us what is the source of the name, why we call it Stark Industries. I'm going to put that question up again. Although I know we're going to get a quite fast answer. Because of that, I have a second challenge, which last time was tough to solve, which is what is the source of our second demo platform, which is called Paper Street, or Paper Factory Street, if to be exact, and to give a small hint. So if anyone can tell what is the source of that name, there is a third trivia question that is coming for anyone who can tell the second question. All right, back to the platform, the answer to that question. Back to the platform, back to the demo. What we are seeing now is the view from the assignee, the employee, the person who relocated, and how they will access the platform, what they will see. All the content here is customized, so we can change the content of each slide for your company needs, per population, and per country they are going to. So to make that extremely relevant and to be what you want it to be. We ask them a few questions in order to tailor the experience for them, right? So we ask them, do you live alone or with housemates or with a partner and children? That's my case. I'll answer that. Based on these answers, the content of the platform is changing. Right, so I only see things that are relevant for me. I will not see how to entertain my children if I don't have children. Why should I see that content? Right, so that's another layer how we personalize that. Next, we tell them that we will share with them information from their colleagues, and that's a core way of how we deliver the Benivo experience. We believe in the knowledge of and the wisdom and the knowledge of the crowd, and we like to share that. Everywhere in our lives, we make decisions based on other people's experiences. When we order on Amazon, we see star rating, we read reviews before we make a decision. When we book a holiday, and hopefully this will come very soon, so when we book our next holidays, we're gonna use Expedia or Booking.com, and we're gonna look on TripAdvisor. We're gonna look not on if it's a 3 stars or 4 star or 5 stars hotels. We're gonna look on the reviews and the star ratings of other people. We took the same concepts and put them into relocation. So when someone is relocating, I can see where do they live, in which neighborhoods are popular with my colleagues, how much do they pay, which bank account did they open, and how do they commute to work, etc. More than 100 areas that we cover with those insights. Today, I'll show how that works for the COVID-19 situation. So we took the same concept and applied here. Okay, we are native in English, and we support 103 languages through machine translation. And again, I'll challenge everyone who is listening to us, please give us a language, and let's see how we deliver on that.
Let's pick some of the languages that are out. I'm just trying to think where people have come in from. India, we've got quite a few people from India. Yeah,
I know Tamil is one of the languages in England that, not Hindu, that is obvious that we will have Hindu, but let's see how it looks in Tamil. And would love to get the feedback.
Somebody's here from Czech Republic. So what about in Czech? Okay, and let's do one other so you can just see what else we got. Lots of people here from Florida and Chicago, but I don't think we'll do English. That's too easy. What about French? We've got people here from Paris.
Yeah, obviously French as well.
Okay, so as you can see, this is really cool technology. Anyway, why don't we push it back into English just to make the demonstration easier for everybody. Well,
Fine, I'm surprised you didn't ask us for Yiddish as the language. Because we do support Yiddish, if you were wondering.
All right, and Klingon?
Klingon, I'll have to check. I've never checked that. But I will not be surprised. All right. So here we are at the platform. There are a number of areas that we're going to cover. There are the actions, which is the heart of the platform, everything that is happening, including all the content that we are hosting with all the partners that we've mentioned before. Insight is where I can share my insight. I can see others people's experiences, the whole star rating and reviews we mentioned, information about the destination, and information specific for my situation. We're gonna focus now on the employee view, but then we will switch to how the platform looks for the mobility manager or the HR manager. So here I'm looking at the action section. I can see everything, or I can see it by topic. Initially, I can look only on, let's say, important resources, so I can find information about local health and transport updates. So, for example, I can see, I've selected here, the location is London in the UK, but the solution is available globally, anywhere in the world we will cover. We've got that question before, but about Laos and Burma, and yes, it's available for every country globally. Just tell us, and in those 3 days of going live, we will cover all of your countries. We've had cases of companies asking us to support 100 locations, and we went and we were able to deliver on that. So here I'll find information about the latest updates with regards to transportation, what is open, what is changed, what is not, and that's changing obviously daily, so I can click on that and see this. The same about the medical support, where is the nearest medical support to me, etc. Other information that we give is frequently answered questions about the situation, there is an opportunity to even share feedback. So one of the corporates we worked with said that they really want to know what assignees want. So we've just added that very quickly to the platform, and immediately the feedback goes to the mobility team so they can see what the assignees actually need, and they can access it from any device and share their feedback, and it goes to the right people. Other things that we've done are related to sharing the virtual experience. So a lot of people working virtually, sometimes even for the first time. A few of the corporates we work with, especially those who have virtual internships, wanted to create a feeling of a community and allow employees to share already today as they prepare for that internship or where they are now, how their home office look. So when some quotes and tips that they are sharing. So we've created that as well. Sorry, Brian.
I was just going to ask a question which has been asked on LinkedIn, and I think I know the answer, but I'll just confirm it with you. The question is, when are they asked if they have pets to address their concerns? And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is that in the version of Companies Want It, the very first question will be, do you have pets? And if so, there will be pet stuff that comes up. Is that correct, Nitzan, or how are we dealing with employees who've got pets?
Exactly. We just ask them during the onboarding. It depends on how we set up. In this demo, we didn't, but in others we do. And based on that, we know if to show them information about pets or not. It's a good question.
Thanks for that. And another question coming through, and this is from Kay Hall. Is there a mobile app for employees?
Yes, 100%. There is a mobile app on iOS, so for Apple users, iPhone users, and on Android, they can download it from the App Store, or they can use it from their mobile device and just browse it through their mobile browser. So supporting all devices available anywhere.
Okay. So out there in LinkedIn world, keep coming in with the questions and the challenges. We want your feedback. If you like what you see, please tell us. If you've got suggestions to improve it, again, please do that. So, we're looking for all forms of constructive criticism, any challenges that we can do to make this better, but also your views on this. There's another question in here, and this is from Rita Bellabed. Is the content here specifically tailored to address the COVID-19 situation only, or does it go beyond the current environment?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So on this tool, we are COVID-19 focused. So all the information that is offered here for free is COVID-19. Obviously, for our clients, we also provide them all the digital destination support on everything, right? So from connecting to their tax and immigration providers to end-to-end view on everything on the relocation, digital destination, advice about housing and moving and how to find out access to funds. All of that is that, but that's on our full destination product. So here, this tool that we offer for free for anyone, it's the COVID-19 support.
And a couple more questions coming in. An easy one for you to start with, Nitzan, is from Kathy Hine. Hiya, Kathy. Is it Tony Stark from Stark Industries? And the second question from Alexander Radar. Question in terms of technology. Sorry if already asked. I don't think it has been. Is this placed on the company intranet? Do I have to include our IT and security team and ask permission?
That's a very good question. Okay. So I'll start with the first one. The Stark Industries is from Iron Man. So yes, that's the
first one to get it.
Yeah, that's the first one. The second question, I still didn't see an answer. That's what is the source of our second demo platform, which is called Paper Factory Street. It's a good one, fantastic source. And it's a movie as well, right? I'll give a hint. It's a movie as well. Probably the best movie. But back to the second question, how does that work? So no, this is an independent tool. It does not sit on the intranet, which means it can be set up in 3 working days with no need for anything from the internal IT team. Also, data security and data protection, we've solved all of those needs, so you will not need to go through an IT review or data security review, because we've gave solutions that allow the corporate not to share with Benivo any information. You don't tell us anything, hence there is no exchange of privacy data, and there's no need to review that. It's a standalone platform, and that's what gives the opportunity in this specific COVID-19 tool to go live so quickly in 3 working days. We normally sign only an NDA. That's what we've done with corporates who we gone live with, and that was it. So we've made that easy, because we know that everyone is extremely busy now.
And we've got a great question that's come in from Diane Marino. Diane, I think, is from REA Partners in Transition. And Diane says, is there an area to add special needs for a child and or family member? Great question, Diane.
Yes, so let me show a little bit of the content that we have now, and a lot of that, some of that content is ours, but a lot we are hosting, basically being the kind of the app store, if you want, that example, that we can host other apps on our operating system. Here we can see kind of the Fragment app, where we host access to the Fragment live, up-to-date immigration information, and the latest per country, including, of course, the disclaimer, etc. I can find out exactly what's happening at every stage. Let's look at some of the others that we've already uploaded. So REA is a good timing to raise this one. Here we have advice for...
Shout out to Fragment, shout out to REA, and all the other suppliers who are helping on this initiative. I mean, it is amazing, the information that's here. And I think that's a great analogy, Nitzan, the App Store for global mobility.
Yeah, and here we have the split location families content that the REA Partners in Transition gave us, and I can go and kind of swipe right and left through that content, and at the end even access a free consultation that they've offered. So there is an opportunity to engage with a real person for free who will help me with the specific challenges I have. There are needs around the path from world pet travel, and what do I need to be worried about? How do I solve it in the COVID-19 situation? Is it even possible to bring my pet if I need to travel now? And what's the latest there? And even, again, the ability to submit any question, and the team at World Pet Travel will answer that directly and give that advice there.
Again, great shout out to World Pet Travel. We really appreciate your support in this, and everybody else. Global Excel, I suppose, is the next one that you're sharing.
Yeah, that's a fantastic app. That's a dynamic symptom checker for expats. So basically, I can enter my details, the symptoms that I'm currently feeling anywhere in the world. It will give me advice whether I should A, seek medical advice or not, and B, if I should do it, what are the local contacts that I should now contact, right? Because obviously we all know that we should not go to hospital, we should call first. So what are those numbers? Who are the people to engage with, etc.? Available globally, thanks to Global Excel, etc. I'm not going to show everything, but we also have King Meyer, who is giving advice in Germany about a local country admin, as well as anything related to the vehicle. The Impact Group that has provided us with a very helpful, I think I've showed that before, about mental health, the art of self-care. Also working now in the Net Expat, access to their NEC, their network. So they gave free access to partners to that fantastic network of peers and advice. We are in the process of bringing also Living Abroad, Air Inc., International AutoSource. So many of the industry suppliers have contributed their content, their app, their services to this tool, and now offering it to the assignees. So really exciting to see.
Coming in, Nitzan. is or can the crowdsourced information be edited by HR? In other words, if HR presumably want to include a different supplier in there, maybe that's someone they've got a relationship with, or exclude a particular supplier, then can they do that? And I'm sure the answer is yes.
Yes, exactly. That's a quick one. Everything on this platform is editable with a tick box, and we do that work, right? We know that as mobility leaders, as HR leaders, you are busy enough. We don't want to give you more work. So we have a dedicated team on our end. You have one point of contact who engage with you. You just tell them what you want, and we do that very, very quickly. For us to show a content or remove a content is as simple as ticking a box. There's no technology involved in that. There is a lot of technology in the background to support that, but just to be able to customize it, so every corporate will be able to decide what they want to show, what they don't want to show. It's kind of, the home for the employee, the mobility hub. Just like you add an app and remove an app from the App Store, it's as easy for us to set it up here on the Benivo app and create that unique experience for every corporate. Let's look a little bit about the insights.
More feedback coming in. From Angela. This is an amazing and very helpful platform. Thank you for providing this to those affected by COVID. And Angela, if I can just say to you, if you think what you've seen is amazing, you just wait till this next bit, because what Nitzan's about to show you, which I think is genuinely a first in our industry, is how we have gamified global mobility. We've turned global mobility into a game. So tell us a bit about gamification and the technology we're using here.
Great. So here we are taking this concept of star ratings, reviews, learn from your colleagues, and we're bringing that into mobility. So with the COVID-19 example, or that situation, I can now answer questions and gain points and for these answers. So for example, what helped you most when you feel stressed? For me personally, it's exercising. So I'm going to answer that, and I can see here the answers of my colleagues and what they are doing and what they that. How do I find it most productive to work from home? For me, it's sticking to a schedule, and I can see what others have answered. And the same concept applied to anything else. In relocation, in anything else that we need to do. I gain these points, and when they reach a certain level of points, normally after they're answering about 30 questions, we'll make a donation on their behalf to a charity of their choice. So every employee can choose a charity, whether in their home country or in the destination country. And not surprisingly, a lot of them are choosing now in charities around health and providing a healthcare support. That's the most popular at the moment. But before that, a few months ago, the most popular were fighting the forest fires in Australia. So every person can really choose what they connect to, and based off that, we support that cause. And the insight that they share then goes straight into the platform. So for example, if I want to see now how to get my groceries, I can see which services are available in the UK, but also importantly, which are popular with my colleagues, what my colleagues are actually using. And this data is being updated daily, live, based on the information, the insights that the employees are sharing. So for every insight that they share, we are able to show it to the rest of their colleagues. All right, we looked a little bit on the employee section. Anything before we are looking to switch how it looks from the mobility side, especially to track where are my employees?
Tell me, how does this work? You talk about tracking employees. Is that what you're going to come onto now?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I'm sure people are going to be really interested in that. I mean, that I think is a first in our industry.
Yes. So basically what we've done here is, again, about in this session last week, in one of the follow-ups with the corporate, they've told us that their challenge is to know where are their employees at the moment and how does this impact their duty of care delivery, especially at the time of a crisis. A lot of time is being spent, information is in different platforms, is out of date. We all know that where someone is payroll is, it doesn't mean that they are actually there at the moment, and that can impact tax, it can impact immigration, but most importantly, the being of being able to deliver support to the employees. And they've asked us if we can deliver it to them, and we've built that, and really, really proud now to share what we've built under the reporting. So I've switched from the employee view.
Exactly. As I understand it, the employee would not get to see any of this. The employee would purely see the employee face of it, but the HR people, they would have access to switch to the client view, and then they can go in and see all this incredible data that's coming in behind it.
Correct. What I've just done is I've switched from the employee view to the HR, or what we call the client view, in order to be able to see information that is only available to the HR. And that is the whole area of reporting, from who registered to who is spending, to which actions people took on the platform, to how they use our different features. But obviously now with the focus is on where are my employees. And here I can actually see when is the last time we've managed to track where they are, and to share what is the location they are based. And I can filter that by the office, by the city, by the country they are. I can have a look at a map, which we will look at a second, or I can deep dive into the specific data of people here. We've anonymized the information here, just in order not to display real data, of course, or real users, but you can see here that we can see the location and how many days since we've last seen that person, and can be able to track where they are. And then I can search here and find specific people if I want to know where they are, or filter by a specific location. A little bit about the technology behind that. There are tools in the industry that are helping us find our employees, but those tools require to log into a specific platform or to download something to a mobile device. What we've managed to build here is something that does not require to log in, does not require to download, and it still can tell the location in a data privacy and data protection compliance way. And employees can opt out from that. They can decide that they would not like to share their location, and they can easily do it from the employee platform. What I'm going to show here is how it looks when they actually share the information. So we can see here a map of the world, the different locations where people are. And let's say I want to look only on my employees in one of the offices, not all of the offices. I'll choose Swords in Ireland, and where are my employees that are working for the Swords office, and I can see they are all over Europe. So first, probably the good news is no one is outside of Europe, so that's within the EU, that's good. But then I actually realized, oops, one person is in Istanbul. I can click here and I can see who is this person and when was the last time we've tracked that they are in Istanbul. Now there is a lot of AI in this tool, so it's being updated every day. Every time we have a touch point with the employee by email or other way, we can send a text message in case of an emergency to make sure that people update their location now. They can choose to override what the platform is showing us. So there's a lot of technology actually and flexibility behind that tool that can show us where are people at every given moment. Now I can.
I'm sure we're going to get dozens of questions coming in on this. So please, I know we're 3 minutes ahead of you in LinkedIn world, but as you see this, please do feed in your questions and challenges and ask us about it. Whilst on questions, question from a slightly different subject from Susan Swavely, also from REA. She says, how can contributing suppliers get access to the employee view of the tool?
Yeah, so for suppliers who have shared with us their content, we obviously made a commitment not to make that information public, so we cannot just give access to anyone, but anyone who shared with us, we do share with them how it looks on the platform, and just to make sure we don't violate any of the commitments we've made to anyone who shared, we can't just give access to anyone. We can only give access to the platform for corporate, who then invite or share it with the employees that they would like them to have access. That's how we make sure we don't violate any of the commitments we've made for those who chose to share their content.
And tell us a bit about how we're getting this information on where employees are. Again, I'm sure there's going to be questions on that. I mean, obviously, we're not sort of putting chips in people's necks or anything to find out where they are. So how are we getting that information to tell us where the employees are?
Yeah, the information is based on a number of sources. The main source there is a source that is called IP, Internet Protocol, and that's based on a unique number that every device has, and also on that every location has. So based on where someone accessed the information, we can tell where they are using their IP. And there are different ways for us to get their IP. One of them is obviously when they log into our platform. Other thing is when they use the app. Another way is when they open or get emails from us. So and a fourth way that we can trigger them is through sending them an SMS. So a text message or a WhatsApp message. So there are a few ways for us to get their recent most.
What about somebody using a VPN? Does that sort of beat the system?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So for someone who is using a VPN, for those who are not familiar, virtual private network, VPN is a tool to basically mask my current IP, so people will not know where I am. And there are two. This is one use case of VPN. Another use case is for securely accessing a company's internal tools. So for companies who are using VPN for securely accessing their information, that we have a solution for, and we can still tell where the employee. For employees who are using a private VPN that they've purchased or use in order to hide where they are, then we respect that. The fact that they don't want to share their information, just like they can opt out, they can also decide not to share their IP, and that's perfectly fine. We want to give every person control on their data. As always, data protection is not regulation for us. Of course, we follow the regulation, but we actually care about that. We believe in the importance of it, and that's why we support that in everything we do. So if someone doesn't want their employer to know where they are, that's perfectly fine. To solve that, they can actually, on the employee platform, update where they are. So they can go on the platform and either type it or allow their browser to share with us their current location.
Okay, excellent. So this tool is just, I think it's really cool. And the nice thing is that apart from being really cool, it's easy to put in place. It's up, we get it up within 3 days. And the COVID-19 tool, obviously not our normal sort of Benivo tool, but the COVID-19 tool is provided free of charge. But this is not some great implementation exercise. It's not like, implementing some big, mobility software or enterprise-wide software. This is cloud-based, and as I said, is standalone from the company's own systems, and is put in place within 3 days. So tell us a bit more on it, Sam.
Yeah, so a little bit more of the functionality here. Every report that we have, including this one, can be exported to a spreadsheet, Excel, CSV, whatever we want to know. If we want to manipulate that data, we can further customize that based on different corporate needs. So some of them want to include here more information or less. We've actually, once we've built that feature, we've made it something that is available also for all our clients. So anyone who wants to use that, again, we're not going to charge anything for that. That has been our model. We keep upgrading our solution all the time. And the idea is not to find new things to sell, but just add more value. So this feature, for example, will also going to be available for all our existing clients. If they want to use it, and of course they have the decision to make, and we can either activate it or not activate it. I think in terms of the location, one point that was raised with us is, what about the location of my dependent, right? The employee's dependent. Can we also provide information on that? Because that's not something that is available on any of the paid tools on the market. So we've actually took that and also built a solution there. So as the employee, I can actually provide the contact details of my partner, my spouse, who will have access to this tool as well. And the employee, and if they agree to that, the employer will be able to know their location at any time, especially at a time of a crisis and a time of an emergency. So that's something new that we've built, and that actually fits very well into one of our new features that are coming to our core product, which is a complete platform for the partner, for the spouse, to provide them with content, with insights, with advice for anything they need regarding their transition. So not only for the COVID-19, but in general. We are a technology company, so we're not going to offer any services there. Any company who wants to offer services to the partner and spouse, there are fantastic suppliers on the market, and they will continue to do their great work. What we are providing is kind of a base layer, base level digital support, like our digital destination, that is getting a lot of fantastic feedback, and now will be available for any partner, any spouse, again, with no charge at all. And the value here is, again, the tracking is also being more relevant and more accurate through that.
Okay, so is there anything else we need to cover, or are we nearly there?
I think we're good. I think we're good. If we don't have any specific question there, I've shared what I wanted to show here. Okay, well,
I think, one of the things that's come out of this to me is, and there are some amazing features there. I mean, we talked about the ways in which people can collaborate. I mean, we didn't show the WhatsApp group, but everybody knows WhatsApp. That's within it. The way we've gamified mobility so that people learn from each other. We've talked a bit about the service provider integration and the way that service providers are coming together, and we really, really appreciate your support. We've talked about our challenge Benivo, where we can help corporates, and we will get this up and running within 3 days. I think we've talked about the fact that, as coming on the ticker at the bottom there, it's free service, the content and resources. And one other thing that I suppose we talked about, but maybe I should just sort of mention, is that we showed at the beginning, this is fully branded to each corporate. So what your company's platform will look like will be quite different to Stark Industries, and different to any other companies. It will be meeting your criteria. And also, we talked about this amazing "Where Are My Employees" facility. So all of that is there, and I think I think if you haven't had a chance to have a full demo, hopefully we've shown a lot. But if you're a corporate and you want to find out more, then message us and email us, LinkedIn us, and we'll arrange a very specific demo for your company, so you can really see what it's like. I mean, it goes without saying that obviously this is the COVID-19 tool, but there is a much bigger tool behind that, which is aimed at, if you like, normal life, and has got lots of other features, including our pay later facility and welcome gifts and all sorts of other stuff that's in there. And we're getting, I'm pleased to say, a lot of traction with that. In terms of other comments, again, a lot of people saying just thanks and find it really insightful. So, and thank you to everybody here who has been listening. We're coming up to 55 minutes, and I try not to let these things go past an hour, and I do from the view from the top. So what I really want to do is I'll take the platform the tool off the screen now and just bring Nitzan and me back full frontal, as it were. So we just wanted to thank you for being here, for supporting this initiative, and for being interested in how technology can change mobility. I mean, the reality is that we're all beginning to face the new normal, the next normal, and mobility is going to change. I mean, as we come out of this, there's going to be a reluctance to travel. There's going to be a logjam of people having to travel, but also, obviously, economically, times are going to be tough, maybe the toughest we've ever seen in our lifetimes. And one of the issues that's going to come out of this is going to be a real pressure on cost. I think there's no doubt that, from a global perspective, there's going to be a huge pressure on cost. And we all know that assignees are expensive. They typically say an assignee costs maybe 3 times the cost of a local employee or equivalent domestic employee. So I think we are going to see pressure. And if there are ways we can do things smartly that help manage costs within our organizations, and we firmly believe technology is one of those, then I think those are going to be sorts of things. We are going to be discussing that. We've got a View from the Top series that goes out on a Wednesday. Many of you watch that. I know we had about 3,000 views for the session that went out yesterday with Julie Onslow Cole, with Ed Hannibal from ERC and Deloitte, and with Sarah Hunt from Mondelez. Next week, we've got a huge session with, again, with Julie Onslow Cole, who will do her update on global immigration worldwide. But also, I'm delighted to say we've got Lynn Shotwell giving probably her first ever major interview as President and CEO of ERC. So please do make sure you tune in again next week. But one of the issues I know is going to come up in the discussion next week, and it's always coming up, is this whole question of how do we respond to the pandemic? How do we move forward? And we're going to be covering all that. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I mean, hopefully you've all had a chance to see the platform. Hopefully you will like the platform. If you've got any questions, contact us. If you're a supplier, contact us to get involved. If you're corporate, contact us to get the platform. So Nitzan, many thanks for doing such a great demo in multiple languages, as we showed the various languages. So many thanks to you, Nitzan.
Thank you, Brian. Big shout out to the Benivo team for working so hard to make that work. And again, a huge thank you for all the suppliers who are joining. And thank you, Brian, for all those sessions during this time. I know that you've added a lot of hope and positivity for people. I've read that in the comments, and in behalf of the industry, we all appreciate that.
Well, thank you. I'm touched. And all that really remains is for me to say thank you to everybody for listening in, and we'll be back next Wednesday for another edition of The View from the Top with Julie Onslow Cole and with Lynn Shotwell from Worldwide ERC. Goodbye, everybody.